What's good? I'm gonna give everybody a couple seconds to get in here. Oh. So what I'm really watching right here is this is what we talked about yesterday on stream. So usually yesterday, or with any kind of trade that's pro trend 4 hour, I wouldn't have even break it even the stops. I'm glad we did though, because this is what we were talking about yesterday on Bitcoin. We have these equal highs up here. You see ETH, I think it's still up somewhere in this region. It's actually cleared this zone now and going to some of these old zones. See how we have this zone like this on the ETH, where there's massive displacement in the market, clean high inducement right there, and then also this supply zone. So we got a nice reaction where we got those shorts yesterday and some pretty good gains. But the reason I put stops to break even though it was with the 4 hour trend, is because of this right here. Bitcoin had yet to even come up in this region yesterday. So I'm kind of just watching Bitcoin at this point. I'm not going to rush into anything. As of right now, the 4 hour internal structure is bullish, but we haven't really came down as much as I'd like. I'd like us to come back down into this area, but at that point, the 4 hour would be bearish. And also, we are in weekly demand, and we did get a nice reaction. But, and for me personally, you guys have been watching for a while, know my strategy. I'm not really, why is it doing that? Hold on. I'm not really one to rush or try to catch the absolute bottom. I'd rather wait for a confirmation because while there are a lot of things pointing that this could be the local bottom, I still want us to get above this high for me to, be convinced of that and close a 4 hour candle. And that's where I'll be more long biased. But yeah, here what I'm really waiting for is price to see how we react to this zone right here. We're about to tap into it. So the DXY is still looking pretty bearish, this is the dollar index for those of you who don't know. We've got our strong high and our strong low right there. The 4 hour is still bullish, but the 15-minute may not be done pulling back. And the 4 hour is not looking too hot, which it's, kind of time for this to cool off. I could see us pushing down a little bit, maybe into this region down here. I mean, if that happens, you will see assets pump. That will make everything that is denominated by the dollar, including stuff that's denominated by Tether, of course. It's gonna make it go up. Other thing I want to look at is the Bitcoin CME chart. So massive gaps here. We see we can go look at the daily chart. Um, Not real convinced of anything from the daily chart as far as that we're looking for these gaps, but we have these massive gaps from over the weekends. Um, a couple times that, sorry, excuse me, that a uh, these will get filled at some point, but when it's not necessarily required that we have to fill it. Just think for every candle, for every down candle or every gap on the left, there needs to be an up candle to the right, and vice versa. If you look over here, we had a gap and it was filled quite quickly. That doesn't always happen that quickly, but these gaps will get filled every time they get filled. I don't think there's any gaps on the CME except these two that haven't been filled. So, that being said, we kind of gotta keep an eye out that we could switch bullish. So we talked about that a little bit yesterday in the stream. Um, we're in that weekly demand. We got the internal change of character in the 4 hour, but until we break structure in the 4 hour, we're still bearish from a macro perspective, and this could just be a pullback. That's all this signifies. Now, if we break above this and get a closure, then I'll be more convinced our swing structure is now bull, and on the retracement down to supply, or I'm sorry, to demand, I will look for longs. But until then, I'm still kind of short biased. I know it's against what a lot of people are saying, but that's just the strategy I have. I wait for confirmation. So here where we're at, I mean, theoretically, I guess you could draw this a little more, and we're in it already. So we haven't tapped into any of this zone. So I would, let's see what it looks like on a 1 hour. Let's see if I can make this visible on the hourly. So yeah, it's an institutional candle on the 1 hour. So I'll mark that. Now it'll probably be a while before if we even get a setup here. Let me go ahead and delete this and this too. Now the setup we're looking for is price to come back, and we want to say if this stays our internal low right there, which it is right now, we'd need price to come all the way down there and then come up into whatever supply sent us down there, and then start to see that downward motion there. I don't think there's any. Let me look on my calendar. I don't think there's any stuff with the USD today. I know there's some stuff going on with the pound, which I don't know how much of an effect that will have on okay, existing home sales will stay, which I think that's today, right? Yeah, existing home sales just came out 8 minutes ago. It was actually better than so that's good for the US dollar, which look at there's a couple events. Existing home sales were up, existing home sales a month were up. And then we have a speed 11. I don't know, it's medium impact. So that's really it for the dollar today. That's going to be any kind of high impact stuff. I want to see what the pounds inflation was. Sorry, excuse me from all the coughing. I'm still still having like some kind of small complications from COVID. Just a cough and then like fatigue. And it's been like 2 weeks now, I think. Almost a full, yeah, it's been 2 weeks since I took the test, so it's crazy that I'm still kind of feeling some of the side effects, but so yeah, sorry about that. What did Twitter do? Maybe something about Twitter. Oh, that's crazy. Speaking of gaps, this got drawn a while ago because I can tell by the color. I've changed the color of my boxes since then. So I drew this box. Oh, that was, I guess, when Elon Musk was on his rampage, and this is a great example that those gaps always get filled. It's funny, we were just talking about this. I drew this in the daily. Price hovered around. It took a while. Like, what is this? For it to get fully filled, took a whole 29 days. It's not that long, but for some people, that's a long time. And especially when you're looking at charts and waiting for something to happen, that can feel like ages. But those gaps will get filled at some point. Now, this could have been 29 days. It could have been a year. But it's just, I rest my case there. Decent reaction here to Bitcoin. I'll go ahead. I'm actually going to post some of this TA up for those who aren't in stream. But really, what I'm looking for here is just a break of internal structure to the downside. And, I'll start to look to play the 4-hour pullback ending if that occurs. Because another nice thing right here, we kind of have swing structure right here. So this is the kind of setup, we really want to see. If we want to go short. Now, we're not going to go short yet, but if we get the confirmation, that's what I want to look for. Let me post this TA up. T. Yeah, so if we can get that break of structure, because to me, really, this is actually gearing up pretty nicely. Let's see if that's an internal high or internal low on the 4-hour. That's not what I wanted, but let me go ahead and just like that. It's really right here. Actually, let's see. Let's see what this is right here. Oh, it's not wanting to show it. Oh, actually, well, no. I was hoping it would be up here because to me, when I'm looking at this, I mean, actually, no. I see now. I was looking at it weird. That's even actually now, because really the way I look at it, our swing structure went something like this. Came here was our swing structure right here. So we broke side, pulled back, went up, pulled back, and then this to me would be a pullback. I mean, that's It's enough for me to be a swing pullback. So while it's not the internal structure in the 4 hour there yet, I'll be watching this for sure. Sure. Let's look at some forex. I just have alerts set. I haven't got any alerts, but um, this is another one I'm watching for. The Aussie dollar. The 4 hour is bullish here. See if you draw, depending on how you are, what you determine for a pullback in forex. I mean, if you say that's a pullback, then I guess we switched bearish here. But for me, I'm still pretty bullish on it long term. The reason being, not long term, I should say. I want us to come up and mitigate this zone before pushing down and taking out the sell side, because we see we're engineering a lot of sell side. So oftentimes, what that will allude to is that smart money is grooming retail to have their stop losses in this area, and they're going to want to push back up to where they went short originally, because they sell on the up move. That's why we use up candles, and the candles before displacement or before the big down move, because they sell on those up candles. So smart money was selling up through here, and those are going to be our better areas to get short if we can get a zone up there. So that I've built my narrative around that, and we may not get back up there, but that's kind of what I am looking for to get short, to target these weekly equal lows. So we'll just go through the whole thing. Euro USD, I'm kind of sad about. I wanted to I had a limit down here on this candle, because we had this trend line liquidity, these equal lows. I didn't need them, I guess. And what's weird about it is, usually, I would have expected it to come into this zone, but it seems like this flip zone was kind of like the bread and butter of what it needed. And I've seen that more and more recently on euro dollar, that it's kind of like it loves flip zones, whether it's the 1 minute, the 15-minute, for whatever. It reacts off those flip zones nicely. So I'm kind of taking that one as a you know just a lesson of how euro dollar reacts with certain situations, because Bitcoin, I would look for it to clear out all that liquidity. Bitcoin loves manipulating everything. But um see here, if we would have looked, if I think that was on Father's Day, so it wasn't really, it was the 17th whenever it came back into this zone, or 19th. Yeah, it was on Father's Day, so I wasn't really trading as much. I did take one trade. I just wasn't watching euro dollar because it wasn't where I wanted it to be. But if you look, you came back down here on the 1 minute. Let's see how this played out. I mean, really, there wasn't much of a trade, in my opinion, because you would have taken, once price came in here, you'd look for the 1 minute to clear your most recent high. That didn't happen for a long time. And I guess, if you waited for it to come down in here, um, you could have played that, because you're still in this zone, came back into it. There's probably some kind of entry on even a lower time frame, the seconds time frame in here. The price came into your zone, broke structure to the upside, and then now you could have just played this area right here, and you would have got in, tagged it on that candle right there. And if you missed that, whenever you broke through that supply, because then you had a flip zone in this inside bar, that one wouldn't have got hit. It doesn't look like, or maybe no, yeah, you would have got missed on that second one. But using a using a confirmation entry, you would have got tagged in. So now, looking at euro dollar, what I'm seeing here, a lot of people are bullish on it, because they see this as our swing structure, I guess, for the 4 hour. But I don't see it like that. I see this was our swing structure. We came down, it broke above it, pulled back, bam. Then we got a bearish break of structure, and you can see we reacted to this supply, and then moved to the downside. And now we're bullish again somewhat, because we're right here. And that's all great and all, but what I'm really looking at is the higher time frame, which is the daily, and I see this as distribution right here, all that right there. And on top of that, we've got that weekly sell side liquidity building up, equal low. I mean, this is like clear as day to me. So really what I'm looking to do is to go short up in this zone. Wait, wrong tool. But I always forget to set alerts when I'm doing TA. But yeah, so really euro dollar, I mean, I was looking for buys up to this region. Um, and I'd still take more. That's where I think we're going. I think we're going to go up here in this area, no doubt. So, now at this point, I could look at this as my swing range still. This high is going to be targeted right where we're at. And we'll probably see a push into this supply. I'll mark that as well. We'll probably see a push into that supply and then get that 4-hour retracement because, if we break above this high or possibly, this is really where we're going to start seeing to get short from. I would like higher just because I see this big institutional candle right here. Also on the daily, we have this last order block before this really big down move. So that would lead me to, want price to go up into those regions. But if we just get here, I'm definitely going to look to go short because, while the 4 hour is bullish, it'd be a counter trend trade. I'm still bearish in the higher time frame. So that's euro dollar for me. See what I did on this one. I think I was posted something about this. Yeah, trendline liquidity still being engineered pretty tough here. It's widened a little bit. So what I'm really looking for here is this to get cleared, all this trendline liquidity, and then push down into this POI. That's really where I would feel comfortable to take longs at. If we look at the 4 hour, I'm gonna hide some of these. If we look at that 4 hour, this is really a zone of demand that also got front ran by this low. So we have the inducement low. We're also engineering sell side liquidity via trend line. The 4 hour is bullish. So, if we draw like this, that would also give us our retracement into a premium because we haven't seen that yet, or into a discount. So I would like that a lot. Seems like we might be. This is probably low time frame. Yeah. Wick through that. That's weird. Yeah, I wouldn't have really. I probably wouldn't have taken shorts or anything up there, but pound dollar, I'd look for us to come back down to this. What is this level? 121584. Into that supplies or that demand zone. So until then, I'm kind of just chilling on it. This is setting up nicely, super nicely. So we got these relatively equal highs right here on New Zealand dollar. The 4 hour came back up into this zone. This is still pretty bearish to me. That's not a pullback in my eyes. This is our range we're playing within, and it looks like price pulled back. And now we're starting to get those signs that the 4 hour pullback's begun. Because down here you can look, okay, well, what were our signs that it was beginning? Got your internal break of structure to the upside. Price came back down into that supply or that demand right there on those sell to buy wicks. So once price came in there, we pushed back up. Price came down into this inside bar. That was your second newly introduced demand. And then now we can see that this demand is starting to seemingly fail. We can't really call that just yet. Ideally, I'd like it to be respected and us to come up here and come up into the supply, because we see price pushed up into this 4-hour supply. See if we draw like this, if it touched it. I didn't touch it on the 4-hour if you draw it like that, so I'm kind of curious about this. Oh well, it touched into it there. Yeah, I'd say that's fine, because if we see here, usually if I see something like this, I want it to be mitigated, but I see that it quickly was. Price pushed down by that inside bar, and then new supply was introduced within this inside bar, because we know an inside bar is a lower time frame range, and then we continued our move down. So that leads me to be fine with this area. We got equal highs. We came into it, and we broke structure to the downside. We kind of had this little flip zone here. So, that area, if we get price come up into it, and then the 1 minute starts to break down, I will look to short from that area for sure. And I will be targeting these where is it? These lows down here on the daily. A lot of stuff with the dollar is looking like the same kind of setups. Either they're engineering weekly liquidity to the downside, or it's been recently taken. See, this for me looks like we took out that sell side liquidity there, and then when I try to find what really pushed us down to it, I mean, on the daily and get a better look, because we had some nice accumulation down here. I wouldn't try to target these lows just yet. Daily is giving us pretty clear targets right there. Also have some trendline liquidity here. I don't really pay that too much mind yet. Swing range is pretty crazy. So when we look at this, our weekly swing range, and it's important to be mindful of this, because you need to know if you're playing within a weekly pullback or not. That's a weekly high, weekly low. So when we look back over this way, it looks like this weekly pullback has definitely begun. We got that internal break of structure to the upside after that accumulation we saw on the daily down there. And we've got a second one. Switch bearish again right there, but quickly shifted back bullish. The thing is here, whenever you're looking at it from this perspective, we have the weekly swing structures bearish. So, theoretically, whenever we're looking at this pullback, we know it can end at any time. We'd ideally like it to go back into premium, but with the weekly ranges, a lot of times you will see that they don't do that. Just kind of how it happens sometimes. I see this. This is a big POI for me, right there. So the reason being is that inside bar is that flip zone, because price kind of came into found some demand down over here, wherever it was, pulled back, and then blasted through it. We saw a lot of displacement in the market right there. Also, there was all these highs that just got cleared, and if we fail to make a higher high on this week, which failed on the weekly close, it looks like, or did it actually? There are more equal highs. No, it cleared it. So, at this point, this could be a good zone for the weekly pullback to be over. I could see that happening for sure. So if we go into the daily now, Let's see. Let's draw this. I want to actually be able to see this on the daily. So on the daily, this could just be like a little liquidity grab right there. So we have this supply zone. So when I look at this from a perspective of institutional order flow, I see this as the obvious sell side engine or high time frame liquidity that's been engineered. But when we look over here, price seems almost in its own way a little bullish up until where we're at because why is it wanting to do that? So price seems almost a little bullish because we came down on this order block and then we came up and took the buy side liquidity that was offered. So um, looking at just the daily chart, it looks like we're due for some retracement, but there's a lot of displacement here. Smart money was pushing money up into this area. Now maybe it was just to mitigate that weekly order block, maybe not, but we could look at that area down here, as a value area. There could be a lot of buys there. Also, I want to throw on this um, fixed visible range. So that's sus. So there was little to no volume through all through up here. So if you see price push down through this level, this value area, it's gonna fall very hard. Whenever you have those really big low volume areas and no value, that's where big money wasn't really touching it. So you can kind of expect that to be a problem area, so to speak, for that asset. Kind of bust right through it. Once it gets through that value area, it kind of just drops off the face of the earth. Now, when I'm looking at the swing structure for the daily, excuse me, I'm going to come back over this way. And remember, what are those internal breaks on the weekly? Well, oftentimes they're going to be swing structure in the daily. Also, I'm just now seeing the comments. So for Darshan, yeah, there's a Discord server. It's playbit.info, and use my code. It's all caps Casper, just CASPAR. Here, I'll type it in there. Um, I just dropped that in the comments for you guys, for the guy who's asking. And also, I have no problem showing up every day. I enjoy doing it. So, you know, it uh, it's cool to kind of link up with you guys and just, I do this every day anyway, so might as well. So I appreciate you guys showing up every day. And institutional candles can be found on any time frame, especially refined. Oh yeah, you're making a statement. Sorry. Yeah, that's correct though. So here we're looking at the swing structure. Oftentimes the internal structure in the weekly is going to be our swing structure on the daily. And in this case, it is because I would have looked at like here we have this here, bam, we took that high, so now we've got a bullish swing structure. Okay, that wasn't a swing high. I'm just kind of drawing on it, but right here we took a low, so you shifted bearish there. Then we came back up, shifted bullish, and this was your range. And you broke another high. So really right now, let me delete some of these lines. Good chart hygiene. I don't like too much shit on my chart. Um, so when we've cleared that high right there, we look for the lowest point between the high and the lowest point or the highest point we plotted as our high that broke, that broke the previous swing high. So now we've got our daily high and low. These are really important. So for any kind of swing trading, this is going to be your go-to chart as the daily chart. It's going to tell you a lot. The weekly is good for our liquidity targets and our overall, macro outlook. But I think the daily chart tells you about everything you need to know from a swing perspective. And if you look at this, we know there's a ton of liquidity built up under these. Wait, I clicked H4 low. We know that there's a ton of liquidity built up under these structural lows, along with the fact that we have that weekly or that not weekly, that equal lows are going on there. So you know, those now while this is a strong high, so that means there's even more liquidity. We know there's equal lows right there, so that's another liquidity target we're looking at. Um, we know we're up in this zone of supply. We're not at a premium of the weekly range yet, but we've pulled up pretty close to it. I mean, oftentimes you don't even see us going to a premium with weekly ranges. So, you know, we also know that we're expecting a pullback to begin at any point. If we look over here now at this immediate price action, we have this supply zone on the daily. After we kind of came down and broke structure, it was really our pivot zone or our extreme. Um, we could go down and refine it maybe on a 4 hour. You could say this last candle here. I don't think it's really necessary to refine. I mean, we're not trying to catch the bounce anyways. What's already happened, so to speak. So now when we look at the daily, some people, whenever people are using a little more ICT logic, you know, they'll say if we come into this zone and this last up candle's low is broken, that's the sign of the pullback. Me personally, I want the internal low going to be there, but I don't necessarily have to wait for all of that to get short. You know, I'm not just using the daily time frame. I'm just using that to kind of give me a perspective because I've already got my perspective. You know, I want us to come down at least to here. You know, I don't necessarily have to just target these weekly lows, but this would be the big target for me because I see, you know, price really pushed up. It came down on that buy side still being offered. We can't tick that high. So, but you know, now that that liquidity has been cleaned, we might come back down. You know, because we look, you know, smart money buys on the down move. So that's where we have these down candles, and then we push up. So we might look, you know, see smart money, see this as a vested low, and want to protect it. Um, the only thing against that is, what is this? Oh no, I see it. But this, the only problem there is this high just got pipped, so we don't have a closure up there. So that's not very bullish. That's, if anything, it's very bearish because when we're looking at our swing range, you know, if we come up here, now if we just pip that high, if you're using closures, you know, that's your criteria for a swing closure, which it should be on a daily chart, especially. Um, you know, this is now a weak low because it didn't do its job and make a high. So if that's the case, you know, yes, we have this demand, but you know, we might target this weak low down here. So from a structure perspective, that's now a weak low. If we start to break down here and that daily pullback begins, and then now we see we've built up so much liquidity down here. Trendline liquidity there, equal lows here, our structural liquidity. We have this weak low. So, you know, it's I'm going to go ahead and delete these zones. Like I said, I don't like having a bunch of stuff on my charts. But so now I'm going to look for the 4 hour. You know, for me, if I'm using the daily time frame as my you know, I'm kind of painting my swing perspective where I think the big next price swing is going to go. You know, I am going to also another thing we didn't really throw in, or I didn't throw in. Look at all these equal highs you've cleared out. Tons of buy side liquidity has been removed from the market. So, you know, a lot of that buying interest has been removed. We're in that weekly zone. We're starting to see those signs of weakness. You know, I'm going to be pretty short biased on this. So when I look at the 4 hour, okay, we can start to see these signs of weakness here. There's your first internal break of structure. And this, for me, is going to be my internal break. Some people would say right here. But the way I look at it, you know, you had a low. Okay, we made a new high. Pull back. You had a high right here because this inside bar. We know these inside bars are very, very important tools that we have because they show us lower time frame ranges without having to go down to the lower time frame. So we know that supply and demand is introduced in ranges, so we can use them for that, but we can also use them whenever we're plotting internal structure because, you know, remember a high's job is just to make a new low. So if this candle, you know, its low is taken by the next candle, you know, this one its high and low was. Now that would make it a high, whichever happened first. You know, say if the low is taken, that would make it a high, and then we had to change a character. And that's how you can view stuff that's happening on a lower time frame without having to, you know, scan down into it. But then we came back down right here. This was a high because we broke the low. This candle right here didn't break its high, but the next candle broke this candle's high. So that makes this a low. Came up, pullback. right? So then a little range. So we had this little flip zone probably in here. There's because if we look, there was supply right here. Price came up into it, reacted, paused, pushed through it. So this should have held for one if we're going to remain bullish, and for two, that's our most recent internal low. So now we've broken that. So if I'm looking to play counter trend, now I've seen price move down. Now I've seen it kind of move back up into it. When I'm using internal structure, I'll use the whole range as a supply zone. I'll draw that whole range like that. Ideally, I'd want it to go a little higher, but I see this as, this is probably just a 12-hour order block. So, I'm not, let's see how this is looking. This would be pretty aggressive to take shorts here. I mean, I see it though. I mean, the 15 minutes, very bearish. You got your break of structure, first break of structure right there. Came down, liquidity rated into this 15-minute POI. And you're seeing, because we came back into this zone. Remember, this is a 4-hour zone. But you also came right into this 15-minute POI right there, rated these highs, and now you made a very obvious move to the downside. So, once I see price come up into this zone, and I start to see these signs of weaknesses. Now, this is some weird structure because you're just now really getting your first sign of weakness because, you saw, here was our low down here. We kind of pushed up, pushed up, pushed up. Well, actually, no, this was your first one because you see right here we pushed up. This candle failed to break the high, but it made a new low. So now we have new low. Sign of weakness. God, I wish I had been watching this. Came right back into it pretty nicely. And then pushed more to the downside. So now we're going to have this, it seems like we're going to have this reaction with this demand right here. But I don't think it'll hold. Now, if I look at this point, so we look, okay, so price pushed down, it gave us our sign of weakness. Pushed back down, but then we found demand in this wick, right? So then we broke this wick. So then we had this newly introduced demand or supply push back into it, and you see we're following this bearish order flow. I might actually take shorts on this here. I just want to see what the risk to reward's looking like. Because, I mean, yes, it's not the most amazing, crazy tight stop loss, but if I'm looking to swing this, I'm not really, going to be the biggest stickler on sizing myself in. So I'll target that low down there. Now let's look at it. So I might wait because that move for me, I want more. Well, I mean, 10R to the daily low isn't bad, but I do see potential other entries here. Like for instance, once we get the close here, I do see us probably coming back up to this candle. I'm not going to use a crazy tight stop here. And you could, because we really have mitigated this all pretty healthily. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get into 50% of the position now, and then also set some limits for the rest. I'll just set alerts. I'm going to set limits. Get my position size calculator out. Thank you to Skirt for saying to look at Forex. honestly. Try to stay on crypto for you guys, but it's just um, it's not the way right now, in my opinion. I think that you know it can be there's a lot of great opportunities, and I still like trading it. But with as the market caps as low as they are, so much money has left crypto that you get to see a lot more kind of weird price action where you can still trade it very nicely, but you're not going to get the risk to reward and the satisfactory price action that you're going to get a lot of times out of forex. And forex isn't perfect. Holy shit, these platinum longs are paying. Just now looked at my MT4. Fuck yes. Let me do this position size calculator. So how many pips is this on my broker? Let's see. That's another thing for you guys that are getting into forex. I know we've kind of just started to really mess with forex here in PlayBit, but make sure whenever you're setting your limits. Wait, do they really not have fucking USD CAD? There's no way. Hold on. Has to just be in my thing. Or yeah, it is already. Never mind. I was like, what? So what is this now? It's a chart. I'm gonna look at this. So just look on your brokers when you have it. And look at the same structure and look at that last 15-minute high you have and find, the distance of pips from where you're at to, um, to where your stop loss is on your broker, not on TradingView. Now, TradingView is fine. I use it, and if you market execute and you're just in day trades, that's totally fine. But you want to make sure you. Let's say, can I do ES1? Yeah, sure. I'd actually enjoy that a lot. I like doing indices. So the price right now is 129.09. My broker. I'm gonna go ahead and post this up before I do mine. I am for the people. Sorry guys, be patient with me. I gotta post it to the server and then my position size calculator. And 16. It's actually pretty similar to FXC on my brokers right now. Wick high is a little bit higher though. 129.2. It's crazy. Platinum on my broker is so ridiculous. Like the spread sizes. It like I had to open 100 lots because it's the contract size is one. It's like Bitcoin, so one lot of platinum is really just one unit. I'll show you that trade here in a second. I posted this up on Twitter and all the TA. I didn't post the trade itself, but 1 second. Stop loss 129. So we'll go over a few platinum and then I'll do ES. But I like this CAD setup. Even if this gets stopped, I'll still pursue more shorts. Fuck yes. This is not the full target either. This is just kind of a recent target. So what was the weekly? Yeah, the week. This is gonna be a pretty crazy one for me. So really, that'd be insane. I'll be definitely trimming some off before then. I'll be taking most off of those daily highs. It's a pretty nice trade. So what happened? Really, I posted all the stuff on Twitter, so I'm not going to go over all of the TA and all that. USD CHF, yeah, I got you. I actually missed some shorts in that recently that made me sad. But let me I'll go over this platinum play, and then I'll do ES, and then we'll go over USD franc. But so here I had framed my high time frame story. The weekly was bullish. Everything was bullish. I found this POI I really liked because we had these equal lows right in front of it. Price pushed into it. And then we saw a super clean price action. So we saw this 1 minute break of structure here, right? We broke right here originally, but then I saw price pushed up and we had this flip zone. I would have taken both trades. I would have taken a trade here if this got, what I did instead was, instead of doing, I could have done that and then taken 2 trades. I just took a trade there and was ready to size in more here and just put my stop loss where they were. That's just kind of my style, my strategy I've learned to not get stopped out whenever using these low time frames. Golly, fuck yes, man. So what's the stuff? It's 0.17. It's 0.17%. What's 3.04 divided by 0.17? 4 divided by 0.17. 7, yeah, it's like 17R right now. I'm gonna take some off here. The spread on this was so ridiculous when I opened it though. Sorry, I'm just not seeing, some people are tagging me in Forex chat. I don't even get these. If I leave my computer on, sometimes I won't see the notifications a little. That's how somebody just asked. I wanted to stress that you gotta make sure if you trade Forex. First of all, a lot of people, they see the gains and they just want to hop right on MT4. And for those of you who understand MT4, you're gonna get this. It's just like that makes me. You need to understand what you're doing. You need to understand, because here's the thing: a lot of people come from crypto trading and they really don't understand anything about spreads or um, really anything to do with trading forex. And I don't want people to get burnt and just see gains and that's all they see. You need to really spend some time and familiarize yourself with MT4 and also with all the terms, your contract side, the spreads, your swap price. You need to know what all that means, because if not, you're literally just setting yourself up to fail. No matter if you're, because I can give you signals or whatever, but you know, it's you got to know how to operate the platform. So USD, or I'm sorry, ES. Let's do ES. Let's see if this followed the path that I'd drawn for it a while ago. It was on a daily. I drew it. No. So I want a ridge eventually to come back up into this zone. I don't know if we'll. Um, I think what's going to happen. I don't know why these are locked from the daily. Hold on. Fuck, dude. I need to change my settings. This shit's so annoying. I don't know why it's going on the. There we go. It's better. So and this one as well. So here I see. I mean, this down last November. It looks like we just removed a lot of sell side from the market in the last 12 hours. And you seem like you're getting a very nice reaction to it. So this right here, when that kind of stuff happens, you can expect a bounce for sure. So we removed a lot of those equal lows back from January to Christmas time or New Year's. Yeah, you removed a shitload of sell side there. So now, in the 4 hour, I think that I don't know why this is plotted as I think it's a weekly zone. Yeah, it is. So you've got this weekly order block up here, and we can refine that quite a bit. You could refine it to here. If it were me, I'd probably refine it just all of this right here, that whole range. But you did remove the sell side. On the daily, you haven't gotten much. Let's hide these. 4 hour, on the other hand, now you've got that internal change of character. Now, the only problem here, now I could see this getting violated. This swing high. But until we break above that, for me, we're still bearish. This is bearish. We're still in a bearish market. But I could see the bull case building for sure. We got a really big move coming into the week for equities and indices. That's futures. That's always a pretty big deal. Whenever you have that huge Monday open, it's not necessarily to use alone, or but when we swept the sell side, you got a 4 hour internal structure break. Never really retraced. What I would be waiting for here before I really did much at all. You could find intraday trades. The 50 minutes definitely bullish at this point. And this was pretty clean price action. Saw no resistance to this zone up here. That's going to be a really strong zone right there. So, really with this, I would be kind of just waiting to see how price reacts whenever we get up to this 4 hour zone. I wouldn't be rushing anything here personally. So that's really what I would just wait for. See how you react here. If you get a small reversal, dope. If you don't, then you break above it. Then we still wait for a retracement. I said longed Friday at close. That's really it for ES for me. I know it's kind of like bland, but really, just to recap, we have daily sell side removed. So we could have a bullish narrative. We see that we pushed away violently from that level, so that was definitely an area of interest. Internal break of structure. 4 hour still remains bearish, but if we get a break of structure above this, if we can close above here, I'll be looking to take longs, or I mean, I won't be because I don't trade ES, but I would be looking to take longs up into this 4,000 area, probably up into this distribution up here. The next one is USD franc. Type that in. So yeah, this was it Sandon that asked me this? I don't know. Oh, it's Smoker. No, it's Smoker. No. So really, what for me, I wanted to short from here because this is our original. We had that weekly liquidity rate of these equal highs up into this. This is probably a monthly order block right here, but ran up into those highs, didn't close above it. So we can go into our 4 hour to see, okay, where did the sign of weakness really start? It's right here. And then we broke down from right there, or I'm sorry, over here. same structure though. That's what I'm going to get into. We came up here, we broke down. Here was our supply that pushed us down. Came up into it. Sign of weakness there. Here's our flip zone. This is going to be a very big point of interest for me. I've got actually don't have alerts, so I thought I did. I want price to push back up in here and fill this inefficiency, and I will be shorting the shit out of this. But until then, I'm unfortunately kind of just sitting on the sidelines. So um, swing structure is bearish right now. That is your bracket. Here was your swing structure before. That was just a liquidity raid, push down. So I want us to retrace up a little bit, but we might not get it. We'll see. Might have missed that opportunity. That would suck, but it happens. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But immediate bias is probably going to be bearish. Let's see. Oh no, not actually. 15 minutes bullish right here. You're in this range right here. Got equal lows down there though. I can see this getting taken out pretty easily. I'm not really looking to day trade this one. There's a lot of macro factors that come into play with the USD franc because the franc is a safe haven currency, and during times of economic unrest, you'll see it gain a lot of strength. That's why we're seeing what we're seeing, even though the dollar is really gaining strength right now. I mean, the franc is completely just destroying it. So you know, um, you got to keep that in mind. All the macros. It's not something I'm really looking to day trade. It's something I want to look to get in some swings. Unfortunately, we messed up here. It kind of sucks. That's part of the game, but we did talk about it a lot on stream. But that's kind of where I'm at. Somebody said USD JPY short soon in my in the chat I'm in. I see it. I mean, there's this monthly order block. I mean, I personally went up in here, but you're starting to get there. I think they're a long ways off, though. I don't think this is anything at all that you're going to have to, uh, really, watch the screen over. I think that you've got time. So as soon as I start to see, the daily switch bearish up in this area, I'll start to look to go short. Anyways, guys, I got to run. So also Young Savage, we talked about ES, which is SPY. Basically, it's just the futures of it. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys as always. And until tomorrow, I'll see you guys later. Peace.